What's up, God's people? This is Kovic right here, the host of a show we call Fotokozani School of Wisdom. There's something that I want to get off my chest. I've had this for quite some time now, and seeing that now, we've got a platform where I can post these things and say these things. I feel like this is the right time to say it. You know, I've been thinking about how we can create generational wealth and how we can build legacies. And I've been looking at other races, I've been looking at other places and how they do it. They do it in a way that they empower each other. They build the people around them. I mean, take for example Indians. What they do is when an Indian owns a company, they make sure that their brothers, their sisters, their children, you know, get to work for that company. They prepare them, they train them, they take them to school if necessary, just to make sure that they have wealth in the family so that nobody has to depend on anyone. But I don't know, for some reason as Africans, we have this nature of feeling great when others depend on us. Even when we have the opportunity to get them off our backs, even when we have the opportunity to empower them so that they can start doing their own thing. But for some reason, we feel like, I don't know if it makes us feel great. I don't know. But I don't know. There's just this thing that I've noticed. And if we're gonna create generational wealth, we have to change that narrative. And I know some of you are gonna say, no, sometimes the people you're trying to teach, sometimes the people you're trying to empower are not serious and stuff. And that is true. But have you really tried? Have you really tried to call them, have a conversation with them, sit them down and ask them, what do you want to do? Or maybe it's possible they even approached you. They even came to you and they said, look, this is what I want to do, and you could help me in this and that way. You know what I mean? So, and I was thinking about it like this, and let me give you this analogy. I'm a student right now. I'm in university, and I'm studying business administration, and I get to meet different people. I get to meet different people. I mean, I'm talking about different races, different cultures, different backgrounds. And I also get to meet students that are working, students that own companies. These are DE students. They're there maybe to get their masters. They're there to get their PhD. And I get to meet such people, and I get to have conversation with them. Now, imagine how excited I get to sit in the presence of somebody that is running a company and they're pursuing higher education. They're pursuing a master's degree there. They're pursuing a PhD, and on the other side, they run a company. And I get to sit down with them and ask them conversation. How did you do it? How can I do it? How can you help me? How do I get here? And they get to pass down information to me that they discovered in their 40s, information that they discovered in their 30s, and I'm still in my 20s, but sometimes I feel like I'm an old soul, because of the people that I get to be around. I'm always around people that are older than me. I'm always around people that are wiser than me, smarter than me, more successful than I am. And I see that as an opportunity because I get to learn so much from them. They get to pass down that information free of charge. I know there's people that are stingy with information for some reason, but every time I get the opportunity, I was talking to this lady um, from school. I call her Madam Jamie, and she started telling me about she spoke to me about how you know she started her career, how she started a business, and how she's pursuing higher education on the side. She's running a company. I remember the first question I asked her was, "How do you do it?" Or "How did you do it?" And she was like, "I did it like this and that and that." And she she inspired me so much, and she gave me some advice. She said, "If you're gonna do it, go about it like this, like this, to avoid mistakes like this, like this. You shouldn't do that." You get what I'm saying? And that was wisdom. I learned so much, and we just spoke for about an hour and 30 minutes. And I was like, I started thinking from there. I was like, isn't this how we are supposed to create generational wealth? By passing down resources, by passing down information, by passing down ideas to people that are younger than us, to people that are coming after us, so that they can avoid mistakes that we made. Say, for example, I'm in my 20s right now. I get to sit down with a 15-year-old boy. I tell them about what happens when they're 15. I tell them about what will happen, from 15 to becoming a young adult. I'm giving them wisdom. If I sit down with somebody who is 30, they tell me how the transition was, from being in your 20s to going in your 30s. They're giving me information. But I don't know, for some reason, as Africans, we have this mindset of if I suffered to attain my wealth, they must suffer. If I'm successful by the age of 30, it's possible my kids can be successful by the age of 25 because I will empower them in their early stages. I will empower them. I will give them skills. I will give them knowledge. I will give them wisdom. I'll be like, I made it in my 30s with these resources. And now that we have even more resources, you have a higher chance of going further than I did. You get what I'm saying? For example, my father didn't have the opportunity to pursue higher education. He gave me that opportunity. I have more chances of doing things that he never got to do. He empowered me, and that's how we create generational wealth. We empower the people around us, and that starts with your family. That starts with your kids, man. You gotta empower the people around you. That's the only way we're gonna create generational. And stop this mindset of if I suffered, you must suffer. I mean, you own a company. Where's the problem in getting your brothers, getting your sisters, or getting your children to say, you know what, this is what I do, this is how I do it, I'm gonna show you how to do it. And when you do that, guess what you're doing? You're teaching them how to catch a fish. And when they learn to catch the fish, that fish that you used to give them, they are now catching it for themselves. And that fish that you used to give them, you can save it. For example, if I graduate, right, after all the money that my father has invested in me, what happens is what? That money that he used to pour into me is gonna say, look, uh, we're gonna now get this money and start investing it into something because now I have to become my own person. Because now I have to become my own branch. That's how we create generational wealth. Fine, you leave the properties, you leave the houses to your kids. Well, if you didn't empower them with the skills, you didn't empower them with the wisdom, the knowledge on how to sustain those things. These properties that you leave with your kids require innovations. They need to be sustained. You get what I'm saying? If you didn't empower them with skills, knowledge, resources, it's gonna be old news. It's gonna be history. You know what I mean? So if we're gonna change the narrative, we have to start thinking like that. We have to start empowering people. You know what great leaders do? Great leaders identify. Let me say this slowly because this is so important. Great leaders identify their replacements and they mentor them. If you are a leader, if you are a leader, if you are a leader, at some point you know that you have to take a step down. Even if you are in business, at some point you know that you have to take a step down. But if that organization you're running or that business you're running ends with you, then you failed. Because it's supposed to continue even after you're not there. But it's not gonna continue if while you were the leader, you were selfish, you only wanted things to be done by you, to be done, you were not delegating, you were not empowering the people around you. You get what I'm saying? So if you're a great leader, if you're a leader that's running anything, I'm pretty sure you know that at some point you will have to be replaced. So what great leaders do is that they identify their replacements and they mentor them. I love this quote from a business perspective. It says, "If your business can't run without your presence, then you're not a businessman. It's supposed to run even without your presence." That's how we create generational wealth. That's how we build wealth. Well, tell me what you think. If I'm lying, if I'm telling the truth. If you agree, tell me why. If you disagree, tell me why. It's Kovic right here. Make sure to subscribe and follow the page. Peace out.